All right, guys, welcome to another recap episode of Blue is the New White. Just want to talk about the last guest that we had on the show. It was a really incredible conversation. Really cool guy. Was connected to from another one of my contacts here in town in Phoenix. He's local. His name's Rick Miller, and he is the CEO, founder of RLM Hospitality. And they consult restaurants for operations and finance. So it's a little bit outside of our normal realm here of the people that we talk to, right? Not necessarily in the blue collar space, but I know that a lot of my listeners, a lot of my viewers out there have, their demographic is restaurants. So their demographic is in this space. So I thought it'd be really interesting to bring him on and kind of get his perspective, from that side of the aisle on the blue collar skilled trades and the importance, and of course business too, because all this stuff is transferable and translatable and things like that. So according to him, his superpower is people, and I absolutely love that.
I like people and I like finding that talent. That's probably what those folks are referring to. Not everyone's been a perfect hire, but my team is just on all cylinders. And I think some of that comes from my background as a restaurant manager. You're managing a lot of people maybe don't want to be there, and, and you gotta find those diamonds in the rough, or sometimes you gotta find people who maybe don't want to be there, but how do you keep them there? And then on the flip side of that, the clients, you know, it's not all like roses and daisies. Is that what they say? But I like interacting with them, and a lot of how I started this business was based off of that, my ability to engage with an owner and talk restaurant finance. So yeah, in summary, people.
I love that. I saw a shirt recently that said, "The more people I meet, the more I love my dog," and I think that that really speaks to kind of the attitude we have towards each other these days. It's really easy to have disdain for others and people in general. So whenever I meet somebody else who loves people and to be around people and engaging in genuine conversation and stuff like that, it really is a breath of fresh air. The other side is a little bit negative, and I definitely see it. Like, I understand it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we all have met people we don't like, and that we probably won't ever converse with ever again. But ultimately, I think people are good, and I kind of go back to everybody you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Right. So if we can stay curious with one another, if we can, have empathy, controlled empathy, I won't get into that right now, but I think that there's, empathy is a big buzzword going around right now. And I think that there's a lot behind that, and there's a lot we can do parallel to that, so we don't get wrapped up in the same emotions that everybody else has. But anyway, not a conversation for today. I digress. Anyway, so Rick loves to find talented people. Right, it's RLM Hospitality is a small business, small but growing quickly, and he loves to find talent, and that's reflected in his team. And he said this a few different times, but one of the things that he said that I absolutely love was that he looks for laughter. I think I asked him a question of like, hey, what do you look for, in your team? And aside from like the hard skills and the competency to do the job and stuff like that, he said that he looks for laughter. What do they laugh at? How do they find their humor? And if it doesn't come out in the interview, he straight out asks. He says, what do you find funny? What do you watch on Netflix? What comedies do you like? So I really thought that was also a breath of fresh air, because I just released that just this past week in my own organization, our sixth value, right? We have 5 values, and I released our 6th one, and it's called Enjoy the Journey, right? Because we have all these others about communicating and taking ownership and, acting as one team, and things like that. But at the end of the day, success to me personally is being able to be happy on my final day, and none of us know when our final day is going to be. So unless we enjoy the journey, we're always at risk of leaving this life, on bad terms, for lack of a better way to say it, right? So enjoy the journey, and this kind of speaks through it, right? So I really relate to Rick here, and I resonate with what he's saying, because we've got to find time to laugh, guys. We have got to find time. Actually, so I have personal values too, in addition to company values, and I had these printed on bracelets, my personal values, just so I remember what they are, and I can always be constantly reminded. So I switch them up every day. But this one here, this is laugh at life, right? This is a reminder for me not to take life too seriously, because if we take life too seriously, then we're at risk of not living at all. And that's something that I'm not willing to risk. So anyway, I just love that, and so our conversation stemmed around this. We also talked a little bit about towards the end about the economic outlook for restaurants, things like that. So if you are in that industry, or you serve that industry, this could be a really good episode for you. Or if you're just new in business and you're starting to bring on people, we talk a lot about kind of what that means and what to look for. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely hop over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts, YouTube, and take a look at this episode. Really good guy. And anyway, that's it. So we'll see you next week, guys. Bye.